Wow, this is just, man, sunny, getting some R&R and relaxing here in South Central Texas. Having some wonderful coffee. Boy, the weather sure is boring. All it is a lot of sun. Oh, good morning, South Central Texas. Welcome to another edition of your weekly weather broadcast located right here in Boerne, Texas. Sponsored by Westward Environmental and broadcasting on Frequency YouTube. Let's go ahead and take a look at last week's weather. Taking a look at last week's weather, not a whole lot going on across the central part of Texas down here in the hill country. However, last week we talked about the Ring of Fire. Have a large dome of high pressure over a good part of Texas. And a lot of the thunderstorm activity and rain is around the perimeter of that high pressure system, and that continued. We had a dry line out in West Texas where some isolated thunderstorms occurred, basically from Sunday, Monday into Tuesday. And then also here farther east into Houston, we had some additional rainfall that brought some beneficial rains over far east of us. We actually had a couple isolated thunderstorms in our neck of the woods last week. Then it quieted down throughout the midweek and into the rest of this week. It's been very, very quiet. Hot, high temperatures in the 90s and hundreds for a good portion of south central Texas, and low temperatures in the 70s. Since we're in drought conditions, let's go ahead and take a look at how the aquifers are being affected by the drought conditions. With a drought pattern in place across a good portion of south central Texas, today I wanted to structure our little lesson here about drought and its effect on aquifers. We're looking at a map right here of measurements taken at an aquifer in this blue line with circles on it over several years of data. And here on the left portion of this graph we have precipitation, and the bars down here actually measure the amount of precipitation that was observed over this period of time. And what we can see during drought periods, especially if we start looking into 2009 here, we see that the aquifer levels decrease quite a lot. And then when it begins to rain again, like we saw in parts of 2010, the aquifer levels begin to rise back up and replenish. And then of recent, we've been back in drought conditions, and we see some additional dips in the aquifer levels. But what's fascinating to look at this map, and this is just one location, part of Cow Creek Groundwater Conservation District, the trend overall has been a decreasing amount of water in the aquifer system. The levels have been decreasing over time. And so what we're concerned about here, and what Cow Creek Groundwater Conservation District is concerned about in other districts, is that they're here to monitor aquifer levels and help manage our water resources. Let's go ahead and take a look at a different map and show you some different data on this same topic. Okay, we're looking at a different aquifer monitor system over in the eastern portion of Kendall County. Again, precipitation is measured by the different bars along this period of time. Again, a fairly long period of time here. And what we see again is the same pattern occurring, but just a different point in time. We have when it wasn't raining, again back in the 2009 time frame, we had low rainfall amounts and we had a dip in the aquifer, and then when it rained, the aquifer replenished and we had more water available. And then going into 2011 time frame, we saw some beneficial rains early on, and then we're back into a dry pattern ending up the mid portion of 2011 this summer, and we're beginning to see a dip in the aquifer levels again. What the point I wanted to make here is that it's clear from just these two maps above that the aquifer levels are impacted by rainfall patterns, and based on the data, our current conditions here yet to reach the 2009 low levels, but we're approaching these 2009 levels pretty quickly, unfortunately. We also saw how the higher rainfall helped the aquifers recharge. So hopefully we can go and get some more rainfall sometime this summer. Let's go take a look at our weather forecast for this weekend into next week. Okay, let's take a look at the forecast map for this weekend into next week. Not a whole lot of change to be talking about. This weekend it's going to be hot. Highs anywhere from the mid to upper 90s, lows in the 70s, maybe some cloud cover early in the morning, but it's going to be plentiful sunshine and no rain. However, again, the same weather map looking from last week, we're going to have some isolated thunderstorm activity up to the northwest of us and to the east of us throughout parts of this week, especially into the latter parts of this upcoming week. We actually might have a couple isolated thunderstorms and showers near us, but the likelihood is pretty small. The amounts are going to be very isolated, and we're not talking about anything significant, unfortunately. The bubble of high pressure, the ring of fire, and the drought is going to continue. Thank you for joining us today. I'm meteorologist David Knollhoff. I'd like to bring in Mr. Tripper Matthews for a few acknowledgments.
I'm Tripper Matthews, and I have a few acknowledgments. The first being Cow Creek Groundwater Conservation District, which gave us the maps and charts this week. The next being Western Environmental for this facility we have around us. Last week, USGS, we got some charts from them. All these charts are public realm, so you can get them yourself. And the last being University of Colorado's weather system. We use some charts as well from them. And all of us at WEI TV would like you to have a wonderful weekend. Try and stay cool and out of the sun. So this is us closing.
Love is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring. Bound by wild desire, I fell into a ring of